Quarterback play in the NFL is at an all-time low right now. I mean, we got youngins like J.J. McCarthy, Dillon Gabriel, Cam Ward, Bryce Young, Justin Fields, just to name a few, who are going out there and stinking it up on a week-to-week basis and have not shown or proven that they can play in this league. And then you look at the other side of it, we have a backup QB pandemic going on. Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, Carson Wentz, Joe Flacco, like all these old guys are having to come in and they're getting shots, which I'm glad for them, but they're getting shots because these young guys suck or they can't stay on the field and stay healthy. Now, I just wanted to talk about a little bit why I think that this is the case in the NFL. And I think it starts in the college level. Hell, even coming out of high school, I think that there is a major problem. If we look at the current landscape and the process of going from high school to college to NFL, we are living in the wild, wild west right now. Nobody has ever seen anything like this, what we are seeing in the NFL, especially in college with the NIL, the money flowing into the sport. Kids are getting paid to go to certain schools. It's a lot for a young man, let alone a quarterback, to make decisions on. A lot of these kids just go to schools to get paid, and that's fine by any means. Go get yours. But back then, kids didn't go to school, certain school to get paid. Kids went to certain schools to get them ready to go to the NFL, to give them the best chance to be the best that they could be. Now you got kids making $7 million to go to a school, it doesn't work out, and then they end up transferring. And that's the problem with the NIL and the portal right now in college football. These kids are changing schools because they can't and don't want to wait for their chance to become starter, or they're getting paid more by this school than the school that they're at. And what happens? A kid spends his 4 years in college bouncing from school to school, system to system, coach to coach. They can't build any true, real solid foundation. They can't really build any solid fundamentals, and they just have no rhythm, no consistency. They haven't been in the same offensive scheme with the same coaches and the same teammates in the same environment. And that's a problem, because what happens when you get to the NFL if you're a young quarterback? Nowadays, it's about this. You got to be quick. You got to learn fast. You got to be ready to go. Teams are expecting you to be ready by year 2. And by year 3, if you don't get it together, they're looking at the next option. They're bringing in backups. They're bringing in a vet. They're drafting another guy. Whether they get rid of you or keep you, that's just the reality of the game that we are in right now. I mean, J.J. McCarthy is putting on an all-time horrible season. And KOC himself said earlier in the year,
I think as a whole, there's not enough emphasis put on the organization's role in the development of the position. Meaning, I do believe this, Rich. I believe that organizations fail young quarterbacks before young quarterbacks fail organizations. And
now KOC, in this case, trust me, you guys are not failing JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy is just not that good. And it's just simple as that. You look at Dillon Gabriel before Shedeur got named starter. He has not shown us anything that signifies he is a NFL starting quarterback. I'm sorry. The size, the stature, the lack of arm talent. Same with Bryce Young. He's fighting for his extension right now, and he looks awful. And a lot of it isn't their fault at times. Like, it's on a franchise if you pick a Kyler Murray or a Bryce Young, or just somebody that you know doesn't have the size needed, doesn't have the arm talent needed to become a true franchise quarterback. And don't get me wrong, Bryce Young, all these guys that I'm naming, Kyler Murray, sure, I bet they could get it going somewhere else. I mean, I doubt it, but let's say they can. But you got to build a stacked roster around them. And just think about quarterbacks who are kind of limited. Daniel Jones, right? Daniel Jones didn't have the best team in New York. He goes to the Colts, and now he looks good. He looks like a very, very capable, above average quarterback because the roster around him, the defense, the team, the franchise upstairs, everything is really good around him. And that's the only way you'll be able to make it work and compete with a quarterback like a Daniel Jones or a Brock Purdy. Like, guys who are just limited at the position, they need that extra help around them. And it's just the facts. Look at the bottom section of the passer rating ranks in the NFL. JJ McCarthy, dead last, his second year. Cam Ward, second to last, his first year. Joe Flacco, old vet. Trevor Lawrence, bust. Dillon Gabriel, didn't even get a chance. Geno Smith, trash. Bryce Young, awful. Carson Wentz, just a serviceable backup. Bo Nix, I like Bo Nix, but he's been playing bad. Spencer Rattler, horrible. Tua, horrible. Michael Penix can't stay healthy. Kyler Murray, horrible. Justin Fields, horrible. Like, all these guys are young guys or either just really, really old vets. And it doesn't help that the upcoming draft is weak. Unless Dante Moore declares for the draft this year, then the only real quarterback prospect we're looking at here to be a real deal starting quarterback in the NFL that has the traits, that has the intangibles, that has the size, is Fernando Mendoza at Indiana University. It's almost like Steph Curry in basketball, right? Just stick with me for a second. Steph Curry's hitting threes. Everybody starts to copy the Warriors method. They're shooting threes. And kids see Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson making plays off platform, throwing off balance, like throwing no looks, and they think that that's what they need to do, and that's further from the truth. You need to be modeling your game after a pocket passer like Tom Brady, but that's just not where the game is right now. That's not where the game is going. Kids are moving, they're fast, they're dual threats, and that's just what comes with it sometimes. These kids are gonna make mistakes. If you have the ability to run and you know you can run, it's just another decision that has to be made in the middle of a play when you already only have 2 seconds to think. It's just too much sometimes for certain people. I mean, kids have quarterback coaches coming out of high school nowadays. Like, it's getting ridiculous at this point. You got fake quarterback gurus on Instagram and TikTok telling you how to throw a ball and this and that, how to play the position, that have never done anything at the position themselves. And kids are getting hurt. JJ McCarthy, hurt. He's not really fitting the mold of the example that I'm about to say, but Jackson Dart, reckless play style coming out of college. Like I said, it's just another thing with a lot of authority, and with the talent comes a responsibility factor. You have to know when to use your legs, when not to, and you can't be taking the type of hits that Jackson Dart is taking. He had to come out mid-season when the Giants started getting something going because of his reckless play style. There's no coach that is trying to get him out of harm's way. And in a sense, they're failing him in that category because he is a young quarterback. You have to develop him. You have to stress the fact that you can't be taking these types of hits every single week. So yeah, these kids come in to college, they get NIL crazy, they transfer from school to school because they don't want to be patient and wait to win a starting job. And then they just end up in this crazy carousel. They get thrown in the NFL. Guys get hurt. They get thrown in the fire when they're not ready. They put bad stuff on tape. Their confidence gets crushed and they start to doubt themselves. That's just the reality. Franchises don't have patience nowadays, and some deservedly so. I think the Vikings would not be wrong to move off JJ McCarthy. I think they've seen enough, and they have the head coach, they have the defense, they have the defensive coordinator, a great franchise, a great city. They have everything in place to go and compete now, and the quarterback is holding them back. And that's just the truth. So they're gonna have to move off of him, figure something out. And that's a situation where I don't blame the team at all. They are 100% in their right to do so. And then on the other hand, you got teams like the Browns, who they can afford to go ahead and put Shedeur Sanders in and see what he has to offer. And I think that they're right in that sense because, like I said in my previous video, Shedeur Sanders' ceiling is much higher than Dillon Gabriel, and it's not even close. But yeah, I think it's a combination of just the NIL, the non-patience factor from NFL teams, and just the game we're in today. To win football games, to compete in the playoffs, to compete year in and year out for Super Bowls, you need a quarterback and a head coach and a good organization. And that's the reality. And a lot of teams don't have a KOC. A lot of teams don't have an Andy Reid. They don't have a Sean McVay. They don't have a Shanahan, right? And they don't have the roster to put around a quarterback who's average to slightly above average. Because like I said, Daniel Jones, you need to put a team around him. Brock Purdy, you need to put a team around him. And these teams know that at least. And meanwhile, you got teams like my Panthers who just throw Bryce Young in the fire and don't give him anything. I know that we're better this year. We got some hit on some good picks. I love where we're going, but I'm out on Bryce Young. I don't think that they're going to pick up his option. And it's just the reality. And it sucks because, like I said, he got thrown in a situation where he had nothing to work with. He has to go out there, put bad film on tape. He starts doubting himself. And that can change the trajectory of a quarterback's career. These guys are young. They're on social media. Mental health is in a way different space than it was back then. And we live in a completely different world. And this is what comes with it. Kids are going to mess up and they're going to make mistakes. and they're going to get in their own head about it. And then they have to go online on social media and read about how bad they are. And that doesn't help anybody. That doesn't help the team. That doesn't help them. That doesn't help their development, their progress. So there's a lot of factors in it, but quarterback play is at a all-time low in the NFL, 100%. And a lot of it has to do with NIL and college and just the overall football landscape right now. So I do expect and I do support changes within the NIL, however that is, and just transfer portal rules to make it a little stricter. Like, stop letting kids leave so early and so easily. Let them stay at their program, let them build something, let them develop. And they can right now because they're bouncing from school to school, whether it's for the money or to get playing time, whatever the case may be. I think that they need to stay put and try to build something with one program if possible. But that is my take on the current situation of the NFL and quarterbacks specifically. Let me know if you agree with anything I said or you disagree. Would love to go back and forth with you guys in the comments. I read everything. It's been your boy Dave, man, and we will catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.